If you've been searching for LED grow lights that help you grow your plants indoors, I tested the Barrina T5 to see if these Barrina Grow Lights were actually worth it for indoor gardening and hydroponics. Have you ever started growing indoors and felt completely lost about what you need to do? Because that was me. Drop a yes or no in the comments. I want to know if I'm the only one. And hey, I put the exact link to the Barrina T5 that I got right below in the description, so you can press pause and check it out to see if the specs fit for your setup. But let's get into this. So I gotta be upfront with you. I am a beginner at all of this. I am not a master gardener. I don't have a greenhouse, as you can see. What I do have is a desire to grow things indoors consistently. And I've been figuring this out as I go. One of the first things I figured out real quickly is that light is everything. You can have the right seeds, you can have the right nutrients, the right setup, but if your plants aren't getting enough light or the right light, you're going to struggle. I was struggling. I tried putting my plants near windows, I tried basic bulbs, and what kept happening is my plants were barely surviving, or they ended up having these long stretched out limbs. I think they call it being leggy. And that told me that they were reaching for something that they did not get enough of. So I started looking into actual grow lights. And after some digging around, and if you've been searching, you know what I'm talking about, I found the Barrina T5 20-watt LED grow lights. What I'm going to be doing today is talking to you about my exact experiences with them, what it's been like, the ups, the downs, so you can know if this is the right light setup for you. What I'm going to show you is the exact experience I've had since owning them. I bought these myself. These were not gifted to me. These were not given to me by any company. This is my money. And I'm also going to make sure you understand how the Barrina T5 works with germinating seeds, which is something that a lot of people starting out get stuck on. So let me break the Barrina T5 down before we get into the results. These are 2-foot LED grow lights. The pack I picked up is an 8-pack, which gives you a lot of flexibility for how you set things up. They run 20 watts each, and together the whole setup pulls 160 watts total, which is pretty efficient for what you're getting. The light can come in a variety of colors. The light color that I went with was white. And this is a full spectrum light, but they do offer a variety of colors that are also full spectrum. When I first turned them on, I noticed right away that that's a nice bright white light. And this is not like your regular room lighting. You are going to know that they are there. What makes these genuinely useful is that they are linkable. You can connect up to 8 lights in a series of 1 power cord, and that's exactly what you see on my setup. And each light has its own on and off switch on the housing itself. So you can control them individually or all together depending on what your plants need at any given time. Installation is straightforward. They come with double-sided tape, clips, screws, different kinds of mounts. So you've got multiple different ways to mount them depending on your setup. I use the zip ties, and this took me maybe 15 minutes to get everything exactly where I wanted. All right, so here's when things get real. This is what I actually did and what you're about to see on camera right now. I set these up above my shelving to start germinating seeds. And for a beginner, germination is one of those things that can feel like a guessing game. And are they getting enough light? Too much light? Is the temperature right? There are a lot of variables. What I noticed pretty quickly after getting the Barrina T5s running was that the seedlings were coming up more consistently. They weren't stretching the way that they were before. When a seedling gets leggy and starts reaching upward in a thin, spindly way, that's usually a light problem. It's not getting enough, or it's not strong enough to where the plant actually is in your setup. With these lights positioned directly and correctly above the shelf, that stretching slowed down and things started filling out more evenly. For someone just getting started with growing plants indoors, that visual change is a big deal because it tells you something is actually working. I also noticed that different plants responded differently, which is something worth knowing going in. These lights are very strong for herbs, leafy greens, microgreens, and seedlings. If you're trying to grow something that fruits like tomatoes, you may need more intensity or might need different lights to really drive that kind of growth. And one review I came across made the same point. It matched what I was seeing. These are not one size fits all, but for what beginners and a lot of experienced growers need, they cover a lot of ground. Real quick, if you want to check out the Barrina T5, I left a link right below in the description so you can learn more about that and also check out some of the specs. That link takes you straight to the product page so it can let you know exactly how much it costs. Let me give you a real honest version of this. They are genuinely bright. The installation is simple enough that a beginner can figure it out without any frustration. Being able to link them together and being able to control them individually has been more helpful than what I actually thought. The price point for the 8-pack is very reasonable compared to other lights that I've seen out there. What to know growing in. Any color other than white is going to have a noticeable different color. If you care about how your space looks, be aware that before you buy. I went with white, but they offer a lot of different colors. Just recognize that is going to impact your environment. Also, a couple of viewers mentioned that the package arrived slightly damaged. What I found, that has not affected the quality of my lights whatsoever. And also, here's some more good news. Barrina's customer support is top tier. And for what I found, they have a solid track record of sending out replacements. And I'll say this again because it matters for beginners especially. These are not magic. You still need to pay attention to the placement, how far the lights are from your plants, how many hours they're gonna be running. But as a foundation for growing your plants indoors, it gives you something solid to work with. For someone just getting started, this is a solid entry point. And for someone who's been doing this a while, this is affordable, this is linkable, reliable, and these hold up. So where do I land on the Barrina T5 grow lights? Honestly, for what I needed for someone going into this, they delivered. My seeds are germinating, my plants are growing more evenly. In fact, this is what happened when I left for the weekend. And I'm not constantly adjusting things, trying to figure out how things work. Are they perfect? No. The price and the function, and I would recommend them especially if you are just getting started and you want a clean setup without a lot of hassle and frustration. If you want to grab them or look them over, I left a link right down in the description so you can do that. That's the easiest way to get a hold of the product. And before you go, are you just getting started with indoor gardening or have you been doing this a while? Drop it in the comments. I genuinely want to know. And if this helped you out, give it a like and hit that subscribe button. I've got a lot more coming. Thank you for watching. YouTube thinks you're going to like this next. See you next time.